Hey, this is for lifters. If you guys have pain in your overhead movements, so if you have difficulty with things like a military press, your shoulders are going to keep hurting unless you do something about it. This is a yoga flow that's going to help improve your shoulder mobility and help to prevent overall injury in your shoulders. This video is done with Austin Current, who is a former IFBB physique pro, and we're going to show you that even bodybuilders who are typically inflexible can do yoga. So follow along, do your best, and make sure to do this routine multiple times for best results.
So we're going to go through 3 poses here focused on overall shoulder mobility. And I'm going to show you the modifications that are appropriate for a guy of your size, or if you're a bigger guy, if you lift a lot of weights, these are going to be the modifications that you guys use. So first thing we're going to do is work on your shoulder mobility with just your hands behind your back. So you're going to hold a strap behind your back, and we're going to do the opposite grip. So palms are going to face you. Yep, like that. And then, and so normally, like, or if you do go to a yoga studio, what you're probably going to be expected to do is to be able to interlace the fingers behind the back. Now, obviously, that's not something that you can do comfortably. So we've got the strap here to help out. So you're going to pull that strap, be active, pulling it apart in opposite directions, and then doing your best, get your arms away from your back without doing this. So if you were to do this improperly, show what would happen, right? You would round forward, the shoulders would come in toward one another. So we want to try and keep the chest open as you're squeezing the strap away from the back. And when you do that properly without compensating in the shoulder position, you're probably not going to get that hands that far away from the back, which is totally fine, right? So here, like, what are you feeling as you're doing this?
Mid-back, mid-trap,
Yeah.
between my shoulder blades here.
Yeah. So we're working on end range, muscle control there. Also feeling some stretching through the front of the body.
And front delt and chest bit as well. Yeah.
Getting the chest opened up. So this is something that really good to hold and actively hold, right? We're not just kind of passive, we're kind of being aggressive with it, right? We're being active strength here. So holding that for at least 45 seconds, 60 seconds, and as you get better, you'll be able to hold it for a longer period of time.
Would an extra modification be bending my elbows slightly?
You could bend your elbows slightly. So what I like about bending the elbows is when you bend the elbows, you're able to get a lot more scapular control.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking kind of like the end range of like a curl or something.
Yeah, so actually turn around so people can see that. So right, if he's keeping his arms straight, he's only going to be able to get his arms so far back, and he's only going to be able to get so much engagement in here. If you bend your elbows, that becomes a lot more difficult. So if you can bend your elbows while also squeezing your elbows toward one another, that's where you get some really, really intense scapular activation. But if you're looking to strengthen in here and you just want to feel more solid in the shoulders in general, getting the strength here, getting the elbows close together, that's going to feel really good. Yeah. But that's tough. Like even just doing this for about 60 seconds, you're going to be like pretty fatigued. All right, so now we're going to do the exact opposite. So we're going to go strap over your head. So we just worked on hands behind the back. Now we're getting the arms overhead. And so, yes, shoulder width. Yep. And we're using the strap because, again, for me, like I practice mobility a lot, right? So I can get my arms overhead comfortably. I can interlace my fingers. But when Austin does that, so hand me the strap for a sec, and then turn to face. So I want people to see this. So when Austin does that, right, the shoulders come really far up near the ears. It could just be kind of uncomfortable. And if you turn sideways, he's going to have difficulty getting the arms further back, right? Ideally, he's able to get the arms overhead without arching the back, and that just can get really difficult if you're tight through the shoulder. So using the strap, it's just going to feel a lot better. It's going to feel more manageable. You're going to feel better opening through your shoulders as well. So, and this isn't just a passive stretch, right? You're not just lifting your arms overhead. He's actively squeezing the arms back. He's going to feel a lot of activity here through the upper back between the shoulder blades.
Probably some medial delts as well.
Medial delts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of their end range here.
Yeah. Nice. Probably feeling some opening through.
Yeah, lower
pecs.
trap, pecs, pec minor, kind of everything there.
Yeah. So just everything opening up here. So and this is also really nice to do before, at least in my experience, I find that this is really nice to do before an overhead press.
Yeah, I think how I would use as a progression would be I'd start here, find this end range, find that control, open that up, and then I'd probably do something like a Y raise to go through that range of motion, to take all that stuff through a larger range of motion, and then I would probably go right into a press. That's just me personally. And,
Yeah.
what I would do in my own training just to make everything feel better, because you kind of access that range and then you sort of strengthen that range through a larger range of motion, and then that kind of allows everything for me to flow a little bit easier. So.
Cool.
Hey, if you're sold on the benefits of yoga and you just need a program to help you get going, I've got a free 30-day challenge that you can do right here on the Manful Yoga YouTube channel. I've got the link for that in the description below, so go ahead and sign up when you're finished, and let's get more consistent with yoga.
All right, so we got that. We got the hands behind the back. Next one we're going to do is an eagle, and this is going to work on spreading the shoulder blades. Now, so even for me, like the variation of eagle that kind of is the standard in yoga is something that I can't get close to. So that would be like interlacing my fingers all the way and being able to hold my arms up in front of me. Now, standing next to Austin, I don't look very muscular, but usually when I stand next to people, I'm
You're a
like,
muscular guy.
this guy's somewhat muscular. Right now, I'm not. So Austin is going to have a lot of trouble with eagle. So there's a really cool variation that you can do using a strap. So you're going to basically hold one hand in the strap. Yep. So normally in eagle, you're gonna bring the arm one onto the other, but we're going to use the strap so that the strap is connecting the hands rather than the hands having to hold one another. And now he's able to get that opening, right? He's able to spread the shoulder blades.
Do you want elevation here at the rib cage? Or?
I try not to elevate like mindfully. If it lifts up a little bit, that's okay, but I don't try to like lift up. It's more about getting the forearms. It's more about getting the elbows forward
Protraction.
and up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really feeling that spread through the shoulder blades. So if you notice that you're feeling a little kind of knotted around the shoulder blade area, if you've got somewhat, maybe even some painful pinching between the shoulder blades, this is targeting those muscles. And what's really nice about using the strap is you're able to be a bit more active with the upper body. If you just kind of hold the hands, and even if you could do that, it's just not gonna feel as active. So when you've got the strap to pull apart actively, you're just gonna feel some nicer opening through there.
Yeah, I felt great.
Yeah. Okay, let's go other side. So now you're gonna do the other elbow under. This is where it gets complicated. Remembering what you did on the first side and then figuring out how to do the opposite.
Like rubbing your tummy and patting your head.
Exactly. All right, so now I've got the strap to help. We're bringing the elbows up. Elbows come forward and kind of away. And turn sideways for me just so we can see this. Yeah. Good. And so really spreading through the shoulder blades here. And so really trying to get as wide as you can through the back. And then as you're doing this, and this is with all poses that we do and all posture stretches, finding that really slow, controlled, deep belly breathing, right? So inhaling, starting the breath in the belly, slowly expanding up to the rib cage, and then exhaling through the nose. Really trying to slow down that breath. That's what's going to tell your body, okay, we're stretching, but we're okay. We're going to live through this. And that allows the body to relax a little bit more, go deeper into stretch so that you can recover more quickly and get back into what you enjoy doing a bit sooner. Cool. All right, go ahead and relax. So there you go. 3 little poses to work on your shoulders. Okay, so we just went through 3 poses focused on your shoulders. We did strap behind the back, we did strap overhead, and we also did that modified eagle stretch. What do you notice?
A lot more range of motion for myself. I tend to be tight, very similar to my hips. I tend to be tighter in my mid back. I tend to be tighter with my ability to externally and internally rotate. It tends to be tight. I tend to find that end range is limited. I tend to cramp at certain end ranges. So if I'm overhead pressing, I tend to have to incline the bench to allow for.
Yeah.
So I can't be straight up and come down. I tend to have to come here just due to limited range of motion at my elbow.
Yeah.
And what feels better. So everything there, and then just my ability to fully protract and retract my shoulder blades there, like bring them forward, protract, or bring them back, retract. So if, when I'm translating that into movements here, it's more of like a row, and I'm getting that deep stretch, really using my rib cage there to really stretch those back muscles. That's like the lats and the rear delts are coming around for the ride. Mid traps are coming around for the ride as well as they lengthen. So a lot of that stuff's opening up for me there. Yeah.
So how does that translate into better performance?
Again, your ability to maintain control at end ranges is probably one of the best and most underrated ways of long-term muscle growth.
Okay.
And your ability to sustain tension, not only in the in range, but also as you fatigue. And that last part is probably one of the most crucial, because the more advanced you get as a weightlifter, the more strength you're going after, and more specifically, the more muscle growth you're going after. You're really trying to lengthen that tissue, not only lengthen it, but actively lengthen it, right? We're not passively allowing the weight just to carry us through. We're actively thinking about that weight, lengthening that tissue, actively reaching for that stretch, and then really being able to still mind-muscle connection, engage with that tissue, and generate a lot of tension there and explosion within that concentric. So being able to have that rhythmic nature to that, being comfortable there, and not bailing, right? So not bailing where it's, okay, I'm passive, and then I'm getting back into position, and then I'm here.
Got it. So controlling through the full range of motion, feeling
Controlling
that
through that
strength
stretch.
through the full.
Controlling through that stretch, through that end range, and then being able to maintain the tension as I fatigue, as those sets get closer and closer to failure. That is what's probably most likely going to be the biggest bang for our buck in terms of the most efficient way of building muscle. Not to say you can't build muscle with less than that if you're building up, but long term, again, if you're going to continue to stay in the game here, you're going to stay away from injury more often, or you're going to at least mitigate the risk of tweaking something in that end range. And then your ability to maintain internal stability to create more actual force through that and maintain tension as we fatigue just goes up and up and up. So again, there's that science part, but there's also the art of that, and your ability to actually, it's almost choreographed in a way. It's almost a dance in a way. It's just loaded. The yoga is kind of a loaded dance. We just tend to stick more into the isometric ranges. We tend to stick there without the external load quite as much as lifting is kind of that choreographed dance that's a little bit more limited, but a lot more loaded. So I think that's where those two have a marriage.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, guys, that's the workout. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you do it multiple times per week if you can. So bookmark this video. You can use it as a warm-up, a cool-down, or as a recovery routine. If you can do it multiple times per week, your shoulders are going to feel a lot better. Shout out to Austin Curran for teaming up with me on the video. He's a super knowledgeable guy. You can find his links in the description below. Be sure to like this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe. We put out a new video every week. And follow Manful Yoga for more practical yoga that's going to fit into your training. If you want to check out a video I've got for your hips, go ahead and click over my shoulder here and get to it.